Welcome to the Black Money Matters podcast presented to you by the Los Angeles Sentinel and Chase Bank. I'm your host, Danny Bakewell Jr., and we have a fantastic show planned for you today. We are talking about the economic power of Taste of Soul, the largest street festival in California. Part of what we know about the Taste of Soul is the fun, the music, and all the joy that we have. But what we have to focus on is the economic empowerment that our community benefits and all of our businesses get from Taste of Soul. We have some great testimonies from our vendors to share with you. And we also have the owner of Pucker Up, Karneisha Christian, who will join us in studio to share her wonderful success story about Taste of Soul and her business. Senior business consultant with Chase Bank, Lisa Stevens, will also be here to provide insight on how to learn and grow your small business. We have all that and highlights from last year's Taste of Soul Family Festival. So if you're ready, let's get started. Taste of Soul is all about community and supporting our local businesses. So before we jump into the conversation with our guests, let's hear from some of our partners about their experience at the Taste of Soul.
My name is Justin Cruz. My business name is Just In Time Photos. My experience at Taste of Soul was one to remember. I was able to meet all types of people from across the city. So many like-minded individuals come by to the 360 booth that I had set up. And I was able to see Microsoft do their thing with the virtual world. LA Sentinel right across from us.
My name is Donna Crockett and my husband Jamie Crockett. We had Lubbock Crockett's Home-style barbecue. Our experience with Taste of Soul was absolutely amazing. It was our first time. This is our first year. We have no complaints. All we can say is next year we're going to go bigger and better.
Yes, we're getting the 10 by 20. We're going to expand so we can serve more people.
Hi, my name is Brittany.
I'm Kiara. The name of our business is
Exotic Fever Hot Sauce. And we were in the Taste of Soul this year. It was our first time and it was amazing. The atmosphere, the people, the food, everything was amazing. We definitely will be back next year.
Every year.
Joining me today to take a deeper dive into Taste of Soul is the owner and founder of Pucker Up, Karneisha Christian-Stewart. How you doing?
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. So tell us about your business and what inspired you to start Pucker Up.
So we are a modern-day lemonade stand. We opened up our brick and mortar in Compton in 2018. We started as a fundraiser at my kids' school back in 2011. So we're entering into our 12th season, and we offer over 100 flavors of lemonade at our store. The inspiration came from my dad's recipe.
Okay.
I grew up with him making lemonade. We were a family of 8, 6 kids and my parents. And, my dad wasn't going out and making, buying Minute Maid and sodas. I'm going to make y'all some lemonade. And and here we are.
Well, as they say, you got lemons, make lemonade.
Absolutely.
So obviously you've done that in a literal sense. Well, congratulations on having a brick and mortar store. But, you really got started, like you said, doing fundraisers at your kids' school,
Yes.
Doing festivals like Taste of Soul.
Absolutely.
So can you share with us kind of how festivals like Taste of Soul really kind of helped you launch your business?
So Taste of Soul is the epicenter of all things festival in LA. It's the absolute biggest street festival in LA.
And so you've done a lot of festivals. What are some of the other festivals you've done? I mean, obviously Taste of Soul is the one we are most uniquely and proud of, but tell me about other festivals that you participated in, including the one you just got back from.
Yeah, so I just returned from Sundance Film Festival. We were invited by Stacy's Pita Chips, which has since been sold to Pepsi. And Pucker Up Lemonade Company was a winner of the Stacy's Pita Chips Rise program in 2020, which they decided to offer up an additional 10 grants to Black women-owned founders due to the social unrest in 2020. And so we were one of the proud recipients, and they have been in close touch with us over the past few years, and they invited us to Sundance, where we premiered a new short film regarding women in business.
Wow,
so it was
congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You talk about Pucker Up, you talk about the 100 flavors and things like that. So, you've really developed from a micro business,
I'm still a micro business.
You're still a micro business.
Proud micro business.
All right, well, proud micro business. And so as a micro business, you started out doing festivals. And
Yes.
you now have gone to a brick and mortar facility in Compton.
Yes.
And a fabulous restaurant. What's the address of the store?
723 East Compton Boulevard in the city of Compton. So we were so enthralled with just the energy of the Taste of Soul and what that means to be a part. Back in 2013, we were like, we don't have any money. We just getting started. We're going to see if we can pop up in somebody's yard on 39th and Crenshaw. And so that didn't work. We were promptly shut down by the health department. And back then I was so embarrassed, but by now that's part of the story.
Right.
Okay, fast forward 1 year, a friend of mine was doing the promotional products for the Taste of Soul event. And so she says, you know what, we're doing some promo mason jars in the VIP tent. I think your product would be perfect. So that was my entry point into Taste of Soul. So I was fortunate to entered through the VIP tent. And then 2 weeks after, I called Miss Pam and I said, can we come back? And can you comp us a booth? And me, I'm bold. I'll ask. I can accept a no.
Right.
And she says, yes, we would love to have you guys. Were amazing. We'd love to have you back next year.
Well, that's the beauty of Taste of Soul.
Yep.
And, we often hear about, and we get people like that, and we work with both our corporate partners.
Absolutely.
And other companies. Some companies, part of their sponsorship is they sponsor different businesses to actually have a booth. If you don't have the dollars to get a booth at Taste of Soul, we work with you. We are here to encourage and promote and uplift small Black businesses. Now, I'm probably making life harder for myself, and everybody's going to call and ask for a free booth. But, hey, I'm just telling people the true story, that we will work with you as best we can to make it possible. One thing we don't control is the health permit process.
Absolutely.
But restaurants and businesses, and you should talk about that. There's a process. Selling lemonade is not just, getting some lemons and some sugar and stir it all up and here we go. There's a process, particularly with a brick and mortar store. So share with our audience your experiences of going through the health department and doing all of those things in the city of Compton, or even for Taste of Soul.
So, we were at Taste of Soul before we had our brick and mortar, and Taste of Soul was a part of us being able to secure that lease, as far as having the money and the revenue to secure the lease to even open our store. So our first year at Taste of Soul was 2014. And I think that year we did probably around $3,500 in sales. And that was big for us at that point. And so we continued, we kept honing our strategy to become a quick serve lemonade stand. Why? Because at Taste of Soul, you may have 50 to 100 people in your line at any time. People are hot, the sun is beaming down on them, and they want to be served quickly. So we structured that process so that even if you're in line for 20 minutes, we can get you served in about 15 seconds.
All right, so we got 5 of your 100 and so flavors here. So what kind of flavors do we have here?
So we have our cucumber lemonade, we have our zero sugar strawberry lemonade, we have our proprietary Teamonade, which is our peach cobbler flavor.
Ooh.
We also have our mango lemonade, and then we also have our zero sugar watermelon lemonade.
Oh, all right. So you got healthy ones, you got the
something
good
for
ones.
everybody.
I'm about to take this one right here
Right.
myself. So we'll worry about that for everybody else. But hey, this is what Pucker Up is all about. It's about a variety of different flavors, and we're excited. Cheers to 2023 Taste of Soul.
Cheers.
All right. That's delicious.
Regarding the health department, we were novices, so that has led me in 2023 to start a new platform called SIP, which is Share, Inspire, and Promote, because I know where we were as small business, micro business owners back then. We didn't have the experience of dealing with the health department. So we're starting with ramping up participants to complete the TFF, which is your temporary food facility permit application. It starts there, but only because you can complete that application and complete it completely, that doesn't mean that you're still ready to operate. Yeah. So we have to focus on operations. So that's part of the new platform with SIP. We want to share knowledge, experience, education. We also want to inspire through our unique stories, and then we also want to promote them.
I think all of that's exciting. And, you know, I mean, what you're really doing is you're doing mentorship
Absolutely.
for businesses. And, you know, obviously you share your stories, you share your experiences. If you could go back and you could talk to you 10 years ago, you know, in 2013,
Right.
what advice would you give yourself?
The advice that I would give myself is to secure mentorship early on. Early on. You want to secure mentorship. You also want to strategically network with organizations like the LA Sentinel and Taste of Soul. You want to secure your banking relationships with banking institutions such as JP Morgan Chase. You want to do that early on so that your business is ready for funding. You know, for a long time, we bootstrapped our business. Typically, that's what women-owned and Black businesses do. We don't enter the marketplace with funding. Some of us don't enter the marketplace with a business plan. So for me, it wouldn't have been just, okay, we're going to start doing this and see how it goes. So we did that first year back in 2014. We did about $3,500. Our last Taste of Soul pre-pandemic, we did almost $17,000. After that event, my mind was blown. For us to be a micro business selling lemonade, we wasn't selling fish dinners, chicken dinners, what have you. And so I seen Miss Bakewell on Bronson after the event. I was like, Miss Bakewell, we did almost 17, you know, and she was like, oh my God. And she knew how proud I was of us. And then because we have the experience and the expertise that we garnered from Taste of Soul, we were able to do Super Bowl last year and do 25K.
Wow,
you know,
right.
So Taste of Soul has been a launching pad for us as a business. It's been amazing. When I talk to fellow vendors and food operators, a lot of times they're saying, well, it's so expensive. And I get it. I understand. But actually, when you think about it and when you see other events that don't even have a quarter of the attendees, it's very, very economical, feasible. It's comparable to other events of the size and scope.
Right.
So, and it's in our community, most importantly.
I don't want to get in your pocket and talk about, but this year, somebody tell me the number. How many gallons of lemonade did you sell at the Taste of Soul 2022?
2022, we did about 300 gallons of lemonade. And luckily, we have that licensed and permitted facility that we can prepare that lemonade and bring it out. We have very humble beginnings. You have to understand, like, we're a poster child. We started with an igloo and an ice chest. And so you have to start somewhere. The only difference with us, I believe, is that a lot of entrepreneurs give up on their businesses in those crucial building years of getting established. So we started developing standard operating procedures. And most importantly, we got a team to help us sell this lemonade. And we just didn't give up on ourselves.
Well, look, that's the beauty of it. And we certainly didn't give up on you. We believe in you. We continuously believe in you, and we look forward to it. So, you know, that's the power of Taste of Soul. That's the beauty of Taste of Soul. That really is the vision of Taste of Soul when it started. We wanted to be a party where, in our community, where everyone's welcome, but it's our party. It's our community.
For
and we
us,
promote
by us.
For us, by us, and we are pushing our products out there. It also, I tell people all the time, Taste of Soul is the largest African-American community empowerment event in the country.
Period.
You know, where you have all of these Black businesses at various levels, from igloo and ice event to, you know, Harold and Bell's, which has been in the institution in this community for over 50 years. We have them all, and that is the beauty of it. So I thank you for sharing your story. I thank you for all you do in the community, and we look forward to seeing you at Taste of Soul 2023.
Yes, we can't wait.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So right now we're going to take a quick look at some footage from Taste of Soul 2022 before we move to our next guest from JP Morgan Chase Bank.
Sold out of everything. So this is the first time that I participated with my mobile bakery. So this was really nice to be able to showcase my truck and my desserts at the largest food festival in Los Angeles. So thank you guys.
Welcome back. We are here now with Lisa Stevens with JP Morgan Chase. Lisa, what is your role at JP Morgan Chase? Chase is one of our big sponsors of Taste of Soul, and she plays an active role in making it all happen.
Yes, I am a senior business consultant with Chase. In a nutshell, is I'm an advocate for our community businesses.
All right. Well, we certainly got a lot of people for you to advocate for here
Yes.
at Taste of Soul. So, Lisa, let's get to the point. You know, the SBA defines a small business as somebody with a maximum of 1,500 employees and does an annual business of about $41 million. So when we're talking about small businesses at Taste of Soul, or really within our community, none of them really fall within the definition for there. So we're really talking about micro businesses.
Yes.
And how is Chase involved? Because so often, you know, people say, well, my business is too small. We can't even do any business with Chase.
And you're right, micro businesses are usually community businesses. They're the ones with a heart and soul, and they wake up with a passion, they wake up with a dream, and they say, yes, I want to go for being an entrepreneur in this space. So how Chase is supporting those businesses, the community businesses, I myself as a senior business consultant, I'm part of a team where we help to provide the resources, the access, the opportunity. So these businesses can not only be sustainable, but that they can scale.
Okay. You know, so many of these micro businesses are, passed down from generation to generation, either via recipes or what they did. Kids worked for their grandparents and their parents and did these things. But they don't have the basic thing. They don't have a financial statement. What they know is that they spent $1,500 to be in Taste of Soul, and they spent another $1,000 on product, and they spent another $1,000 because they got their cousins to work in the booth with them. So their total investment is $3,000, and they made $5,000, $10,000. So they know what their profit is. But it's not written down on a piece of paper. It's not presentable.
Right.
So how does Chase help people to get into that space?
Legacy businesses are actually the businesses I'm most fond of. Those are our ancestors' businesses. They are the ones with sweat, blood, and tears. They made it to where they are. In this space that I'm in, I'm able to look back and kind of celebrate those legacy businesses and then help with the new generations to see what are the do's and the don'ts. For example, our mentorship program with Chase, it's for the community. So whether you're a Chase customer or not, we want to make sure that we're empowering the community. And we have 5 key areas that we help with. And as you mentioned, that those 5 key areas speak exactly to that. One of the key areas is business development. And in the business development, I highlight just becoming certified with your MBE certification, your WBEC certification. And Chase helps with sponsoring your certification so that you can grab a hold to that low-hanging fruit, have access, right? And then we look at your operations management. How are you operating on your day-to-day so that you're not always in that hustle mode, but you can celebrate your success? And then we look at that access to capital, which is a fan favorite. Everyone comes in for the access to capital. But I actually like that piece as well. The access to capital is a 3-legged stool. Mm-hmm. You look at the intellectual piece of the stool, that one leg. That one leg there is actually the piece that's going to say, okay, now that I get this money, what am I going to do with it? How do I get this money? How do I package a loan? That second leg would be that social capital. And the social capital is key. It's those that can get me into the rooms I want to get into. But not only get you in a room, but when you're sitting at the table, do you have the right utensils that you need? Are you bringing a fork and they're serving soup? Right? So we're going to make sure that you have that. And that third leg, yes, it's that monetary piece. But we want you to be able to understand, how do I take this money and have a return on my investment? Mm-hmm. Right? How do I take this cash and make it king and not the kryptonite to my business? Right. So we look at access to capital. We also look at the team of trusted advisors, and that is huge. You got to know who's in your circle, who is good at what you're not good at, mm-hmm. so that you can continue to grow it. So that's 4. And then our last one, that 5th key of mentorship we look at is that navigating the cash flow. So you have those key areas that we can look back at those legacy businesses, we can celebrate and say, this is what your ancestors has done. We're going to continue that legacy with your nieces, your nephews, your sons, your daughters, so the businesses can be sustainable.
Well, one of the things, and I think it's people need to understand first and foremost that capital and money is really a tool in business. Yes. It's just another tool as part of your business. But does Chase do I'm going to call them micro loans, and I'm going to call them small loans. People often feel, and I hear this from a lot of our Chase to Soul vendors and people like that, like, I can't go, $10,000 to Chase or $25,000 to Chase. That's what I need for my business, but I don't think that's enough money for banks to really be bothered with me.
Actually, we're bothered with them. And here's the beauty of that. We want to look and see what will that $10,000 do for you, because people are quick to pull a number out the sky. Mm-hmm. And I always say, well, let's look at the use of funds, because maybe you need $5,000 to get to the next stage. Maybe you need 15. So we look at what is the capital and how will you utilize it. There's other entries to gaining access. There's credit cards. You have your business. And I won't say that that's the best, but it is an entry level into building credit. So when you don't have credit, let's look at a business credit card. Right. Is that a piece we can look at? But we also have programs to where we can help get you prepared. There's the one thing that you don't want to do is, Chase is a very responsible corporation. I'm there 17 years and I celebrate that. We don't want to put you in a bad position to where we're actually doing you harm, giving you money or lending money. You're not ready for that. Mm-hmm. So help us to get you ready so that you can have that money to continue to grow for you. Beautiful.
And one of the things that I'm always impressed with Chase, and if you can speak on it, is, you guys don't, as a corporation, shy away from the concept of we're here to promote African-American businesses. Mm-hmm. You have a whole division of great people that we've had on this show and on other shows and done stories in the paper. Talk about that. Talk about how Chase has really made an effort to reach into the Black and African-American community, wholeheartedly, and invested in that in ways that, very few banks and very few corporations in general do.
We mimic a lot of our habits after you. You look at this as a community business. You've highlighted so many businesses that have come through our mentorship program, and it's businesses like yourself, Taste the Soul. Taste the Soul I see as a branding. For me, that's one of those spaces to where I show up here, I have that opportunity to grow the business. Chase has, as you may have heard, that we have that $30 billion commitment to where we said we're giving to the community, right? It's about advancing the community. Our programs are not only just on the monetary piece, but that educational piece, the opportunity to network. We help with seed to shelf, just helping businesses understand how the role they can play in their venture to be an entrepreneur and be successful.
Right. Well, you had the opportunity to sit here and see our interview with Karneisha. And what does a business like Pucker Up do for you, both personally and as a banker? But just to hear that story, to hear how she's grown and how her business is. What does that do for you?
I'm so inspired by her. So I'm sitting in the back and I have my little pom-poms going on and saying, yes, I love the igloo, and but when you see businesses like her, those are the businesses we want to fully invest in. And the reason we want to invest in is she first betted on herself. Mm-hmm. She said, I'm in it to win it. And when you have businesses that understand why I'm doing what I'm doing and I believe in what I'm doing, those are the businesses you want to continue to help to grow. So I see a business like her and I want to take her to the next step. I want to know, are you certified? I want to know, are you looking at the opportunities that LA is providing? I love that she's a repeat offender of Taste the Soul. I'm one of those that's online and I'm waiting. And you know what she said, what was so true about, you may be in line 20 minutes, but when you get up there, her team is ready. So she's developed a team of experts that says, you know what, our crowd want to move fast. And I love that. So when I see her, I see a person that's investing back into the community. I see someone that's a legacy. And I see that she can really take advantages of the resources that Chase is putting forward so that we can close this racial equity gap and really help her to be sustainable.
Yeah, well, that's what we do. That's what Chase does. And in many ways, that's what Karneisha and Pucker Up do. And that's why we have this show, is to really talk about and highlight these opportunities and encourage people to get involved. So, I just thank you. I thank Chase for all that you do in this community, and let's just keep making it happen.
Yeah, and I just want to mention, we are here. We have community centers. I want to make sure that businesses understand what's their level of entry. Are they entering as a sole prop? Are they looking at a C Corp, an LLC? And just understand what's my place here so that I can be successful.
And you talk about the community branches, so I don't want to cut that out. So if people want to get involved or have questions about Chase, do they need to call you? Do they need to go on the internet, or can they just walk into their branch and say, "Hey, I got some information I need, or I saw this podcast and I want to talk about it"?
Well, the doors are always open, but I would recommend two things. One, log into our chase.com/business. Scroll down, and because there's so much resource, we have some that's just on demand, and you may find some businesses that are in that early stage and they just kind of want to wrap their head around what questions they want to come in and ask. So you have that, but you also have an area to where you can fill out some information and say, "I'd like to meet with someone like myself, a business consultant," to where we can meet one-on-one and take you through that mentorship program, so that we can kind of look and see what are you doing, and are you investing in yourself the way that you can be sustainable and scale.
I think that's wonderful. So thank you so much.
I thank you all. I mean, you're doing such great work. I look forward to Taste the Soul every year. I'm the first one there. If I could share one last piece, I always, and I think, I heard her mention earlier about when we come to Taste the Soul, although some of the prices may look like they're a little bit more than they would at our average store, invest in your community. We have to get that Tulsa mentality to where we're investing in our community over and over and over. So if we're paying $1 more, guess what? You're paying into the future. Right. So I love you all for the Taste the Soul. I'm the first one there and probably the last one to leave. But I come prepared. I come prepared to support our businesses. I come prepared to remember these businesses. So after the Taste the Soul is over, I can continue to support these businesses.
Well, again, that's what these partnerships are all about. I mean, that's why we reach out to the Chase Banks of the world, and you guys invest, and you guys have been from early on been an investor, because we know that we've got to provide opportunities for our businesses, for our community, in order for us to continue to grow. This is what it takes. It takes a village. And you are definitely part of that village.
And I love my village.
All right, me too. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, Chase, JP Morgan Chase Bank, and Lisa Stevens is the Community Business Outreach Coordinator. And so we thank you all, and see you next time.
Yes.
I'd like to thank my guests, Lisa Stevens from Chase Bank and Karneisha Christian from Pucker Up. And I want to thank every sponsor, vendor, and person who showed up for Taste the Soul 2022. We're back this year on October 21st, so save the date. For more information about Black Money Matters, Chase Bank financial tips, and Black news, visit lasentinel.net. And don't forget, Black Money Matters podcast is available wherever podcasts can be heard. I'm Danny Bakewell Jr., and remember, Black Money Matters.